youth against episodes of violence, against hate speech, against commercialization of politics, and so on and so forth. So we have been quite busy and been engaging with the Ugandan people, because we realize as a commission that in order for us to have a credible, free and fair election, the Electoral Commission cannot work in isolation. We need to work in hand with all stakeholders in the country.
In their different capacities.
In their different capacities, because each stakeholder has a role to play in the quest or in the process of a free and fair election. So we have been reminding stakeholders, we've been reminding Ugandans that if we want a free and fair election, each one of us has a part to play.
We hear you are no longer at Ginger Road Yard.
Yes. Oh, no, sure, thank you.
We've heard of shake-ups within your administrative system.
Yes.
Is it twice now?
Yes.
What exactly is happening? Give us a picture of the administrative
Yeah, okay.
system.
Now, first of all, remember we were...
And possibly, if you can tell us the cause for the shake-ups.
We were previously at Ginger Road, but you know, there is this Kampala flyover project, which has been launched by government, and we have seen the developments that have taken place along those lines. And our area, our premises at Ginger Road, were within the line, within the area of that project.
Area for the construction.
Yeah, for the construction of the flyover project. So government advised that we should leave and get somewhere to go. The original idea was for us to get a home of our own, but it became a little bit challenging until government decided that the government is going to construct for us a customized home under the auspices of National Housing Construction Corporation. In the meantime, National Housing was asked to accommodate us. These are premises of National Housing. We were currently tenants and they are our landlords. We believe that by God's grace, all factors being equal, we shall be able to move to a new home in the foreseeable future. Now, on the issue of the commission, well, the commission is functioning normally. Of course, we have had a few changes. We have had some of our staff who have sought early retirement.
Me, I used the word of shake-up.
Shake-up? For us, okay, you call them shake-ups. For
You
us,
call it changes.
I call them changes. We have had some of our staff who have sought early retirement. We have instituted internal investigations on allegations of misuse of funds, and as a result, we have had to suspend some of our staff, which is in line with the HR manual, which says that if you are under investigation, then you should be suspended or something like that. So, but that does not affect or impact on the operations of the commission, because we have the necessary personnel to fill those spaces that have been left by people who have either who have retired or who have been suspended.
You know, when we had this thing, it sounded big in the ears.
Yes.
Because you are an entity that has to be looked at with a lot of integrity.
Yes.
Holding national elections and such activities.
Yes.
If you have queries in managing shillings.
Yes. But you know, Mr. Lukumwa, the issue of the allegations of misappropriation or misuse of funds is everywhere. I think it covers the entire civil or public service space or something like that. And I think one thing I want to highlight is that we have zero tolerance for corruption. So any instance or allegation of corruption is taken seriously, and that's why we decided to launch these investigations.
Since your appointment, you have presided over a general election in Uganda, 2021, and you mentioned the women's LC1 and all other kind of elections. How would you describe, as a Ugandan, as to your level now, as a man at the helm of the Electoral Commission, how would you describe our electoral processes in this country?
You know, when you are in charge of something,
yes,
your belief is that I'm doing my best. I think it is probably you benefit from the views of others, what we call the outsiders, to tell you whether you are doing a good job or not. But obviously, of course, there are certain aspects we also observe as managers about our electoral processes in Uganda. First of all, they have become extremely competitive.
Okay.
Very competitive, to the extent that they have acquired an aura of do or die. People, and in the process, it has become very commercialized. Elections in this country have become very commercialized. People are using huge sums of money, okay, huge sums of money to contest or to vie for some of these positions, which you have said is very unfortunate. Thirdly, we also noticed that because of the do or die nature of these elections, some people have resorted to unfortunate conduct, like engaging in violence or something like that. Some people have resorted to outright criminalities, like attacking polling stations and trying to ballot staff or even ballot staffing, because it is I either win or they lose. So that kind of attitude has therefore tended to impact on our electoral processes in a manner that raises tension, in a manner that creates some bit of uncertainty. And that's why, as a commission, we've been urging the people of Uganda that our elections do not have to become a do or die matter.
When you look at the 2021 general elections, the by-elections that came after, and now Kawempe, there has been a lot of violence. Kawempe is just a week, but already a lot is happening. They are on all the prime stories in the news, not for the good reasons. What do you think explains the violence and the bitterness? And I would say on both sides, the security people look too angry, just as the voters. What do you think explains this?
First of all, it's very unfortunate. What we have seen playing out in Kawempe is most unfortunate. And on Tuesday, we had a meeting with the security chiefs in this very boardroom, and we were discussing the issues and the matters that have been observed about Kawempe in the last few days. What is the cause of this violence? First and foremost, violence is perpetuated by people. Secondly, we realize that the bigger problem comes from unwillingness on the part of some actors to act within the law and the guidelines issued by the Electoral Commission. If we say, please do not conduct processions, okay, when you are heading to the campaign venue, simply get in your vehicle and drive normally as you drive to the market or to town. But some people want to move in convoys with border riders and so on and so forth, and then you are moving at slow pace, you are disrupting other road users. Now, when security tries to come in and contain the situation and ensure that people comply with the traffic regulations and the guidelines issued by the Electoral Commission, this causes a confrontation.
Can you avoid that confrontation with the excitement that comes with the elections?
Yeah, but you see, the point we are making...
Because we have elections once in a while.
Yes.
Can you really avoid the excitement that comes with elections? For example, there is a by-election of 3 weeks or a month. Can we really stop it?
I think...
And what measures can you apply?
When you are exercising your right and your desire and the desire to express yourself on something, I think you have to be cognizant of the desire of other people also to use the facility you are using while expressing your desire.
You are blamed of bias.
How?
People in Kawempe are saying there is a party that was allowed to have a procession wherever they are going. But it is just a section of us that are told to follow the EC guidelines.
Now, I think that should be put to the law enforcement agencies. Because you see, let me tell you one thing, Mr. Okomwa, and the viewers, that the Electoral Commission works with the Uganda Police Force in the electoral season. And our expectation is that they should maintain law and order. The Electoral Commission does not have command and control over Uganda Police Force or security agencies during election cycle. We do not control the deployment process.
Okay. Now,
and therefore, we do not determine how they are or they implement their mandate, they execute their mandate in terms of controlling or ensuring law and order prevails in the electoral process. So now, if they allow one group or one individual
to enjoy the rights they deny others,
then that is discriminatory. Okay. In my view, the law should be applied equally. The regulations we issue apply across the board to everyone. And that's why, before these candidates hit the campaign trail, we require all of them, whether they are presidential candidates, whether they are parliamentary or whatever elective position, we require them to sit together with the returning officer and they harmonize their respective campaign programs.
Yes.
Lokomwa says, me, I'm going to be in Kawempe Muslim Primary School playground.
That means some other person should
Then this one should go here, and you saw them. You saw them, all the candidates were there after nominations. And then guidelines will issue that campaign should start at about 6 or 7 and end by 6 o'clock. That applies across everyone.
How much power as the Electoral Commission do you have over the security agencies that you work with? Because blames have been coming through all along. They are beating us, the electorate. You remember there were arrests during the 2021 elections of different presidential candidates. But these candidates were blaming UEC of looking away as they were facing these problems. It's like they think you have the power to call security to order because this is your season and you're in charge as the EC. How much power do you have over security in an election time?
First of all, as you have rightly report, the Electoral Commission is one mandated by the Constitution to organize and hold these elections. Secondly, any entity, government entity, or civil society organization that comes in to play a role should be mindful of the mandate and the authority of the Electoral Commission.
Okay.
And thirdly, whatever they do, they should not do it as of their own right as an entity that is mandated to do this. They should do it in the context of enabling the electoral processes activities to take place, to go on.
Yes.
They should not, in fact, we have always cautioned them that even when you deploy, you should ensure that you do not create an appearance or an atmosphere of a security exercise, okay, that you're undertaking a security operation of sorts. The whole essence of deployment of security in an electoral process is to create an enabling environment that will allow the exercise to go on at whatever level.
How do they fail to listen?
Now, well, you know human nature, you know human beings. You deploy somebody, you go, you tell him or her, I think you have children. You tell your child, can you go and do this? He or she does something else. You get me? So it's part of human nature. But the point I'm making is that the authority, the indication of the authority we have over the entire process, for instance, is exhibited or revealed by the fact that when something is going awry or wrong with the security, we summon them. We summon them on Tuesday.
In comparison with how 2021 was, how ready are you as the Commission for 2026? You've had a whole time lag of 5 years to prepare.
Yes.
How ready are you this time round?
One, the Electoral Commission, the preparation of the Electoral Commission is clear-cut. Clear-cut in the sense that your preparations are premised on Article 61, Clause 2, which stipulates the period within which the general election should be held. We begin that process by launching what we call the roadmap to the general elections. And in this particular case, it was launched in August 2023, where we spare out all the activities. Absolutely. From day one, from the first activity up to the last, that is polling and declaration of results. So that is a measure of being prepared. Secondly, the other thing is now to have a budget that we represent to government covering the entire electoral cycle. Thirdly, the other activity is for us now to start implementing the activities in a timely manner, because the activities of the general elections or any election are sequenced. One leads to the other. If you delay to embark on this activity, then it also means you're going to delay the next one, something like that. So we have got to be very cautious. We have got to be mindful that these activities have strict timelines. Thirdly or fourthly, we also now go into recruiting the temporary staff that we require to carry out the various activities. So I want to say that we are prepared. The preparations are not starting now. They started right from the time we launched the roadmap. And we have already executed a number of activities in the roadmap. One, we started with the reorganizing, demarcation of electoral areas for local government elections. We also went into reorganization of polling stations, okay? Because you know every other year the number of voters go up.
Yes.
Because so many Ugandans become eligible every day they turn 18 and become eligible voters.
And that's the determining for the demarcation.
Absolutely. That terms the demarcations, the organizations of the polling, and the number of polling stations we are going to have. We have also just concluded the update of the National Voters Register. We are now processing the data which we gathered from this exercise. And come 17th April, we are going to display the register at all polling stations in the country. The voters at every polling station will come and scrutinize the register and confirm whether their names are on the register at the right polling station. So we are moving on seamlessly, in my view. We are moving on seamlessly, and that is a hallmark of our preparation, because elections is not a mere event. It is a process and a series of activities.
Besides COVID-19, what are those other big kind of challenges or hurdles that you jumped as the EC 2021? And with their considerations, are there some adjustments that you're making this time around?
Well, COVID was the biggest hurdle or challenge, because with it came the restrictions, and with it came a departure from the norm, the usual way of doing elections or campaigns and so on and so forth. Now we pray and hope we won't have another pandemic or epidemic like COVID, which will impose similar restrictions. But as I say, again, with or without COVID, the whole issue revolves on the conduct of the actors.
Okay.
How do we conduct ourselves in this electoral cycle?
In terms of everyone playing their demarcated role.
Absolutely. Everyone playing by the book or according to the rules, avoiding violence, avoiding bribery, avoiding hate speech, avoiding chaos, mayhem. You see? So it is whether it's not that because in 2021 it was COVID-19 and now maybe we don't have it and therefore the conduct will be different. No, again, the human factor. You see, in all these electoral processes, we should not lose sight of what we call the human factor, the human element. What do the people of Uganda choose? How do the people of Uganda choose to behave or to conduct themselves during elections? Are they going to be confrontational? Some people, mind you, Mr. Lukomwa,
yes,
they deliberately go to confront security or law enforcement.
Or even electoral officials.
Or even electoral officials. Because I'm told for some people, I hear, mbu, as they say, that when they confront security and they are handled in such a way that it gives them some bit of popularity or capital, political capital, something like that, which is unfortunate. So I think even as we head to 2026, the defining factor will be how are the people going to conduct themselves
after the presidential elections.
Yeah.
The elections that came after councillors, LC. Some ballots of Machinje were found in Chigoga, and some ballots of Chigoga were found where? How have you made some adjustments not to see such happen again? In terms of stationery, actually, there are also complaints about equipment. There are areas where people complained about their biometrics and all that. Have you stocked all this time round?
Yeah, you know, Mr. Kuma, every time we conclude...
Let's talk about the competence of the people you're going to recruit, how you're recruiting them. There are complaints of people saying, district district. Have you galvanized all that?
You know, after every election, the Electoral Commission carries out what we call a post-evaluation process to see where there were challenges and what kind of challenges, to see where there were shortcomings, to see where there were errors, to see where people did not perform to the expected level. We evaluate all these things. We review all these things. Why? Because we know an election, a general election, is not a one-off. We conclude this one, you already head into another one within 5 years. So we carried out all these post-evaluation processes across the entire country. We listened to the people, the stakeholders on the ground. How did you view the exercise from your perspective, from your region, or from your area? What were the challenges, and so on and so forth. So, on the issue of recruitment, we recruit from within the communities. The people who are going to work in that particular constituency or area are from that area. That's where we recruit them from. We train them. But you know, the students attend the same lessons in class, the same teacher, the same material. But when it comes to exams, do they all perform?
Definitely no.
They perform differently. So even in this instance, when we recruit some of these people, particularly on this biometric machine, we found when it came to polling day, some people had forgotten the login number, whatever it is, or they were doing it wrongly. So then the machine would malfunction. Then they say, oh, it is not working. We received those reports. So how do we intend to address that? We intend to see if we increase the number of training days. Can we increase the number of training days? Can we have a more hands-on approach on the training as part of the training component or program, so that people are more acquainted, are more trained and empowered to use these kits. Now, on the issue of some ballot papers, you know, these ballot papers for general elections are not printed in the country. They are printed outside Uganda.
Many people have complained about that.
Yes.
What's the logic?
Capacity. Let any company here in Uganda come up and demonstrate, a printing company, I'm talking a print company,
yes,
and demonstrate that they have the capacity to print. We shall award them the contract in the spirit of book.
Do you put up bidding processes?
We do.
Or they come up and fail?
We do. Capacity. Do you know the volumes of printing that we do for general elections? That's why we don't even print them in one locality outside Uganda. We print them from different localities because of the volumes now involved. And therefore, unfortunately, of course, some few, not many, some few errors could occur at the printing level. But what we do, we send teams to go and see, during the printing process, to carry out what we call proofreading, such that before something comes out, it should be exactly. But you know, one or two things may seep through, but we intend to, because and the only day or time you can actually notice that error is at the polling station. Because these materials, when they are printed, they are packed they are sealed according to the specifications we gave to the printer. Okay? These are ballot papers for polling station in the Rubaga division, in this ward. So they are sealed like that. Okay? Then they are placed in pallets. They are loaded onto airplanes. They are delivered at Entebbe Airport. We just go to the airport and receive those pallets as they are. We take them to our warehouses. The only day they will be broken is when we start now packing for each area, electoral area. Remember the ballot, even when we open those pallets or boxes.
The books are sealed.
The ballot books are sealed and marked. And therefore, you cannot, if you cannot open, you cannot break the cover of that or open the cover of those ballots and then say, is it correct? No, because when it goes to a polling station and they found they are broken, the fear...
I'm sniffing a problem.
Yes.
You have heard of ballot stuffing.
Yes.
So where do these individuals that engage in ballot stuffing get ballots that look exactly like yours, printed very far away from Uganda and kept safely only opened on the day of polling? Where do these people get these?
I have come across some of them, by the way.
Yeah.
And you will find they are not our ballot papers.
But they look like?
They look like.
Exactly.
They look like. Do you know why?
Where is the problem?
No, it's very simple. One, to begin with, when we nominate candidates, when candidates get nominated, okay, you present your photograph. And then if you're an independent candidate, we assign you a symbol. If you are a flag bearer, the symbol of your party is known. Candidates do print campaign posters bearing their photo, the same photo as you presented to the commissioner to nomination, yes, so that you don't confuse your voters. You get me? Then also the symbol. Now,
of the party and the names.
Exactly. Now, it's very easy. And you know we arrange these, the candidates in alphabetical order. So if a ballot paper has about, if a constituency has about 10 candidates, and we all know who they are, we have their photos, then you just know, if your name comes, if there's no A, B, C, D, E, F, G, L, is the number one.
Somebody can also arrange it exactly the way Electoral Commission would.
Yes, exactly. Then too,
how does it be, can it be accurate with the wording and the design exactly like yours?
Yeah, but you see...
There is a by-election somewhere in the East, I will not mention the place. People took pictures of books that even had serial numbers.
But were the serial numbers the same as our serial numbers?
No, but at least they had a picture, yes, of what you had as the
but you see, we have been holding elections in this country for so long, so many years. And some people know the structure of a ballot paper. The only thing that changes, one is the serial number, as you have said. Two, the names and the particulars of the candidates. But otherwise, the layout of the ballot paper, I think it's the same. The only thing, of course, that changes for our ballot paper, which people cannot get, is the security feature. For us, we put in a security feature on our ballot paper.
A seal?
No, well, we know security feature. Security feature. So that's why, and that is the fundamental difference. So when you look at these ballot papers, the first thing we look out for is the security feature. And you find many of them don't have. So then on the other issue of ballot stuffing, I have seen some of them have actually ballot stuffed our actual ballots.
Thank you.
But they invade the polling stations. I have seen it myself in this by-election in some areas.
There is a clip I saw,
yes,
where you were there.
Exactly. They invade polling stations, goons. They invade the polling stations. And you know our polling stations, they are manned by an armed constable. Our laws are such that in Uganda, a police constable should not have a weapon at a polling station. When you go to some of these countries, you even find armed soldiers as the ones guarding polling stations. So these goons come, They rough up our presiding officers, cause chaos at the polling station. They grab the ballot papers, step on the side, quickly critique, then ballot stuff. That has also happened.
But what? Not even torn.
Yeah, you just ballot stuff and then, I mean, they critique. But what I want to assure the people of Uganda, that the stuffed ballot papers are not obtained from the commission. They are not obtained from the commission, or they are not given up by the commission.
You're not parted willingly.
To it. We are not parted to it. The ballot papers that have been stuffed, which are genuine ballot papers, they have been grabbed at polling station. What does that show you? They cannot obtain them through any other channel other than causing chaos.
You have no leakages.
They have no leakages at all. The ones which we have been shown in some areas, they are not our ballot papers. These are fake or incorrect ballot papers, which have been printed elsewhere and so on and so forth.
What do you do to these people? I've not seen these guys being apprehended, because forgery is criminal here in Uganda.
The challenge we have, and we have also addressed it with the law enforcement. I've said the biggest challenge we have in addressing some of these electoral ills or wrongs is the lack of deterrence. We have not taken deterrent measures.
There's something that has been critical all along, yes, even before your time here at the Electoral Commission. It is declaration of presidential results.
Yes.
Dr. Besigye in particular has always emphasized, let declarations be done at the polling station, because everybody has their declaration forms.
But it happens.
So let us know that Lukomwa has 5 votes.
It happens.
Kamukama has 10 votes.
Yes.
Muchunguzi has 10.
Yes.
You get? So by the time it goes to the districts, we know. But again, the rule is as if the official declaration must be you at Nambole, Chambogo, or wherever. I'll add, are there times when you declare votes, or does the law give you a duty to declare votes and at some point you can leave out others? Because there is a claim that in 2016 there are votes that were not counted. Even in 2021, there is a belief that you did not declare some votes because they came in late. What are the facts there, and how do we arrive to it?
Now, first of all, I start with the other critical or fundamental issue raised on results. Currently, in the current legal framework, the results at a polling station are known, or maybe you don't want to say the word announced, but known at every polling station.
Why are you avoiding the word announced?
Because you see,
because after counting,
the law says the returning officer is the one who declares, the one who announces, yes, the presiding officer. In any case, not the presiding officer, the returning officer rather. The presiding officer is only handling the results at this polling station. The results of one polling station do not determine who has won overall, either in the constituency or the district or the entire country. No. But what is a fact, and you can confirm this, is that the outcome at a polling station is known publicly at the polling station. That's why we have the process of the declaration results form, or DR form,
yes,
which is filled at every polling station in the presence of the agents of all the candidates, if they cared to deploy agents, and observers if there are any at that polling station, and the presiding officers. The votes are counted in the open. They are recorded, the outcomes are recorded in the DR form. The agents are required, if they are satisfied, to sign this DR form. And most significantly, every candidate who has participated in that constituency is given a copy of the DR form.
Actually, your explanation has reminded me clearly.
Yes.
Their complaint is, why are they not allowed to announce what they have? After all, at every polling station countrywide,
yes,
they have gathered their information.
But let me ask you, Mr. Lukomwa.
Yes.
As I've said, our elections in this country are a cutthroat business. do or die. What will prevent this person, if you allow him to announce or to declare, what will prevent this person from concocting figures and create an impression, I'm winning? And by the time the electoral commission, mind you, the candidates get to know, and that's very important, the candidates get to know the outcome of the election in the whole constituency or district on polling day. The moment we close polls, we count, we give each agent, the agents of the candidate, each candidate a copy of the DR form. So by 11 p.m. or midnight, once they have gathered the information from their agents across the country, they have tabulated or added them up. They say, I've got so many votes, my opponent has got so many. But given the trend of some of our political actors, would you put it beyond them or past them or some of them to concoct figures of results which are not authentic and go and announce, I've got 10 million votes, I'm the one who has won? You remember the electoral commission?
Nobody can give themselves a zero.
Nobody. Even when people have lost genuinely, have you ever had anyone acknowledging that, yes, I've been defeated? Now, but you remember the electoral commission, especially for presidential results, okay? The returning officer is the commission at the National Tally Center in Kampala. For us, we have to declare within 48 hours. And in practice, we have done that on the 47th hour, probably, before the 48 hours clock. I think last time, 2021, we declared at about, 20 minutes to 4 p.m.? 4 p.m. is normally the deadline. Now, if by the time the Electoral Commission comes up with a correct figure, that the outcome is as follows: when you have allowed people to announce, declare what they have got, do you see what that will create in the country? The followers will say, oh, our candidate Lukomwa has won. The Electoral Commission is announcing different things. They have cheated him. No, we cannot accept this. So to avoid that kind of confusion, I think, yes, the law correctly said the only entity that can declare the outcome of results is the Electoral Commission. Anybody who tries to do that is wrong. But since you have the DR forms, you have them, you compare with what the Electoral Commission is going to declare and say, let's wait. For us, we know from these DR forms, we have scored so much. Let's wait and see whether the Electoral Commission is going to announce something different. In the event the Electoral Commission announces something different, you have recourse to the law. You go to the courts of law to challenge those results and produce your DR forms as empirical evidence. It's clear cut. The moment they have the signatures of our presiding officers, the moment they originated from a known polling station, that is your clear evidence. You just sail it through smoothly and say what was declared is not correct.
On that very point. So I see now the issue of trust cutting across.
Yes.
Because we can't trust every candidate. And I've understood that very well. Perfectly.
Thank you.
I can't give myself a zero. I can't say I've been beaten in my home district. No. Actually, I may be able to say, but my supporters and my team will find a way.
Yes.
Now, you can't the law. It is the law actually that can't trust the actors. But now the actors don't trust you as the Electoral Commission. Why? You have heard of stories of politicians storming electoral offices at the district. And I've heard of stories of people saying, you declare, I'll handle the court issues. I've heard such stories. Do this. You've heard of security being manipulated and all that thing. So people think that what comes at Nambole has either been deducted, added, somewhat, poured, somewhat, and probably you are given what is not right.
Checklist.
Have you investigated?
Checklist, DR form. That's your standard checklist. I have these DR forms. And on that, they gave me these numbers, but the ECs give me this one. Where are they getting this one? Then the issue of storming. Yes, we have had those complaints, by the way. Yes. We have had those complaints. And we try to interrogate.
If we have ballot stuffing,
yes,
how difficult is it for people not to? Remember, in the villages, sometimes after elections, the ballot boxes are carried on a border to the district. What happens if they find a swamp in a forest where there are no people? Can somebody doctor a DR form and where somebody got 50 years, 100?
No, you see, those DR forms are placed in what we call the tamper-proof envelopes. Tamper-proof envelopes. That envelope, if you open it, you cannot reseal it. You get me? Now, when you deliver at the tally center, district tally center, an envelope that is tampered with, then those results are suspect. Obviously, they are suspect. You get me? So nobody, we have not had any incidents where there has been an attempt to open the envelope in a transit. What we have had is people trying to grab the results. If I know Halukomwa in this sub-county and in these polling stations, that is his home area, there are so many voters, I can't beat him there, I must disorganize that polling station. So they attempt to grab the results in transit and then destroy them. It happened in Mukono, I think, and the results were thrown, were I think destroyed by throwing them in some swamp or something. Now, I tell you, elections this kind. Now, but let me tell you, yes, I've heard of those attempts. Indeed, I think in one area, one of my officers called me while in Kiambogo in 2021, telling me, look, I'm scared. He said, what is the problem? There are people here, they are telling me I should declare somebody. I said, is that person the one who has won? He said, no. He said, be firm. Be firm, we're with you. Nothing is going to happen to you. You declare the correct results as you have received them. And indeed, that's what this officer did. He said, thank you, Chairman, now that I have this assurance, I'm going to do it. We take our people through the drills, our returning officers, and I have told them time and again, do what is right. Do what the law requires you to do. I will defend you on something you have done which is right in the law. I will not defend you when you do something that is wrong and contrary to the law. And he was able to declare the results as they came. Yeah, that he had, which were authentic, which were correct. And indeed, there was no petition, court petition arising out of that declaration. So that's why I emphasize, Mr. Komwa, that the trend of our elections is largely determined by the conduct of the people, particularly the actors, particularly the candidates and their supporters. They are the ones who determine the trajectory of our electoral process.
They did the right thing everyone at their
level. If they did the
level,
right thing at their level,
nothing will be tampered.
Nothing will be tampered. Now, yesterday we were reading on social media, which concerns me as the Abakama, that, you know, I think, is it Bank of Uganda economic experts were saying, inflation is likely to go up in Uganda as investors put on hold their investments because of the electoral
season that is coming in.
Really? Is that what we want as a country?
No, not at all.
Is that what we want as a country?
You talked about the DR forms, that parties should stick to that.
Yes.
It takes me back to something we talked about briefly. In 2016, the FDC complained that police stormed their offices and took all the DR forms they had gathered. The NUP had the same complaint in 2021. And their blame comes your side, that this is now your business, but you look away as this happens.
We are not in charge of preserving people's property, whoever they are, as electoral commission. That's not our responsibility.
Thank you so much. Let's go to the declarations as we wind up. So you said it is true you declare in 48 hours.
Yes.
So should we say all the votes that come after that time?
You asked a question.
Add this there. They say you are biased, so you bring in all the districts where you're sure your candidate is winning.
Who is the candidate of the commission? The commission has
I'm
no
sure you've
candidate.
heard this. I just want you to clear the air. Where they are not winning, you delay those districts.
I've heard, but they have heard that.
Kindly
For example, they have said, how can you bring in results from Karamoja and then you
Mukono is not yet.
Mukono is not yet.
Thank you.
It's very simple.
Just clear the air.
Look, if you talk about Mukono, Kampala, you call it Kampala Metropolitan.
Yes.
you're talking of huge numbers of voters. Mind you, polling stations in the urban areas like Kampala, Wakiso, Mukono, and so on, the maximum number of voters is 1,200 per polling station. When you go to some of these polling stations up country, like Karamoja, which you all know is sparsely populated, in fact, in 2021, the total number of voters in the entire Karamoja region, which I think has about, is it 10 districts, was 350 voters. You go to Wakiso here alone, 50 voters. 350,000. Okay. 350,000 voters, entire Karamoja region. Just go to Wakiso here.
Just much in the division.
Exactly. You get me? Now, you find a polling station in Karamoja, they have maybe about 300 voters. Because of the distances and so on, you cannot say you scatter the polling stations. Now, they can finish polling as early as maybe 2 or 3 p.m., but officially we close at 4. Counting those votes is not going to take long, is it?
Definitely no.
No. And immediately they finish counting, they retrieve them to the tally center. The returning officer also opens and tallies. So Karamoja might send in, but you take the case of Kampala and Wakiso. There are some constituencies here which had about, I think the minimum was about 10 candidates. And the number of voters in that area, look at the number of voters.
Millions.
Millions. Now, when you count, the process of counting, and remember I've told you, each polling station must have DRA forms. The more candidates at a polling stations, the more DRA forms to fill. If you have 13 candidates at a polling station, I mean, no, in a constituency, it means 13 DRA forms per polling station. And we feel, and actually the polling station, because one has 2 copies, I think, come to the tally center, then each candidate gets a copy. You feel each of these DRA forms, the votes per candidate have to be counted separately. So even the process of counting ballots in the Kampala metropolitan polling stations
is a big assignment itself.
It's a big assignment itself than, say, Karamoja. So in that case, therefore, it is no wonder that some of these areas which are sparsely populated in terms of voters can have their results come in first. And then Kampala maybe will take some bit of time. It's not a surprise. But what I want to demystify, that it is deliberate, it is concocted, it is because people are still, the Abakama is still cooking the results. No, that's not true. And I want the people to know. You go and see what happens. You go and see, they let them go to Kawempa and see at a polling station. How many voters are there at those polling stations? Now there are 10 candidates. Very good. You go. I hope UBC will be on the ground.
Definitely.
On polling day. You go.
Kawempa alone may have the whole Karamoja region.
Exactly.
Or 5 districts in Busoga.
Exactly. No, Kawempa North alone,
yes,
actually has, I'm told, there are about 200,000 voters. Just short of 150 for the entire Karamoja. So you can imagine. That means if you take Kawempa North and Kawempa, is it south? That means they are over
2 Karamojas.
2. You have more voters than the entire Karamoja sub-region. You get me? So the thing people have to understand and appreciate, that it is not a deliberate ploy on the part of the commission to receive far-off results. It is because of the voting populations in those areas.
The biggest accusations that come on your side, I wouldn't admire to sit where you sit.
Don't worry.
So much relate with neutrality.
Yes.
You get?
Yes.
What's your view about it? And to be straight, how neutral are you yourself?
We are
in the benefit of the person watching us.
Very impartial. Very impartial. Very impartial. Why? Because that's what the Constitution commands. The Commission shall be impartial, the execution of its duties. And that's why it says we shall be independent and not subject to the direction or control or authority of anybody. The impartiality is derived from what? The way we do things. Do we inform the people equally? Is the information we are sharing with Lukomwa, who is a candidate, and Musichunguzi, who is also a candidate, is it the same or they are different? Secondly, their level of involvement. Are we asking them to get involved in a similar manner or different? Thirdly, the opportunities we give them, are we giving them different opportunities or not? Fourthly, the law that governs elections, when it says every candidate should have 2 agents at a polling station, every candidate is entitled to appoint observers to observe elections in a particular sub-county. Do we allow any candidate to have 5 agents and then another one have no agents or not? When it comes to counting of votes, is the counting done in the opening? Or do we say we are counting for candidates X, Y, Z? For candidate A, we shall count later. Or do we count all of them? Thirdly, do we fill the same DR form where the results for all the candidates are put? Or do we create a different DR form for candidate X or Y? Everything is done on equal basis. And that's why the law came into amend, the law was amended also to say that when it comes to visibility of candidates on state-owned media, they should have equal access. If you are in trouble, so you are going to be supposed to give equal access to the candidates.
No, last time 4 of them, we looked for them and they refused.
Absolutely.
Actually, they did not turn up.
They did not turn up.
But we got the 7.
Absolutely.
Yes.
For you did your duty,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yes.
So I think the whole issue about elections in this country, one, the culture of not accepting defeat. That is one. People don't want to accept defeat. Even you are defeated in your own polling station, in your area. Your own people don't have confidence in you. Then you say, Biabakama has cheated me. You know, so then to the culture, and I think that's one of the fundamentals that we have to address.
Okay.
Can we have a culture of accepting the outcome of an election, even when you have lost, and say, the people have decided? And you know what is amazing? You say, the 2021 election was a sham. That was no election at all. That was just Yabakama's things just cooked somewhere. And now, you know the people saying that? Some of them are in the parliament. Now, you went to parliament through this process.
The same process.
The same process.
Organized by the same man.
Organized the same person. Now they talk of because the presidential elections came out differently.
Actually, when you invite for more candidates, you go to the same man.
Yes. Now, because the presidential elections results came out differently. But you say, look, it was the same day that presidential elections, parliamentary elections took place. Same day. The same polling station, okay? The same officials, agents you deployed were there for presidential elections, parliamentary elections, okay? The same process of counting votes and filling DR forms was the same. However, the one where you won and you went to parliament, that was okay. But this one, presidential, whom are you deceiving?
His name is Justice Simon Byabakama. He's the chairman of the Electoral Commission of Uganda, and he's cleaning his boots to go to the field. 2026 is here, and I'm sure he's already at work. My name is Michael Jordan Lukomwa with Davis Kamukama, Mulondo, and the whole team. Wish you the best of the night. Bye-bye.